first thing, recognise the reason why we're here today, to make sure that we raise the consciousness for the conspiracy and betrayal of what took place in the Shrewsbury 24 pickets. The reality is that every single one of us who's been in trade union affairs, who's been on the picket line, could have easily been banged away in jail, exactly the same as what the Shrewsbury Pickets did. The fact is, when people keep on talking about this new government, the reality was that the Shrewsbury 24 was allowed to stay away in prison with the conspiracy and the betrayal of a Labour government as well. Secondly, we've had 13 years of so-called Labour. Why is it only now that all of a sudden we're getting phone calls from Labour MPs to say, we want to be your friends?
The trade union movement should recognise this fact.
Over 95% of its membership are in no political party. So we don't own our adherence to any single political party except for those people that want to fight for working people. And my view is pretty clear on politics, is that if those MPs want to roll their sleeves up, like we've got some good MPs, the likes of the John McDonnells and the Dennis Skinners and people that will, and others, then they deserve our support. But what I really can't understand about some of these trade union officials, and particularly general secretaries, that they give the members of their money, their contributions, to these Labour MPs year in, year out, and when it comes to ask them to back them on repealing the anti-trade union laws, they let them away scot-free. I think that's an absolute... So I think, brothers and sisters, we can now put these MPs under the spot. Because John McDonnell MP won the ballot for a private member's bill, and he's introduced the bill on the 22nd of October on repealing the anti-trade union laws. Now, we don't expect to get any Liberal support or condemned support or expect to get the ultra union support. But I'll tell you what, those Labour MPs who now believe that they are the ones that are supposed to be carrying out the fight, we'll see how many people are going to vote for John McDonnell's bill, because he's going to need 100 MPs just to get it debated. I think myself that some of them are run for cover. Because, you know, the real sickening thing about some of these Labour MPs, if they was asked to join the coalition, they'd be in it. That's their only problem. What did this guy say? John Hutton, a Labour MP who had money from the trade union movement, is now sitting down in a pension foundation to make workers work longer. To steal the years that you're entitled to your pension. And then people say to me, well, Bob, I want to work beyond 65. Well, why do you want to work beyond 65 then? Is it the love of work that you want to come to work for? Is it at 4:30 in the morning, when there's thick ice on your car, that you want to throw your duvet off, go down, scrape the ice off your car, and whistle on the way to work because you love the employer so much? The only reasons that people want to work beyond 65 is they can't afford to retire, and secondly, they don't know what to do in their retirement age. Well, what we should be doing is, number one, saying to people that we give you culture training in your last final years before you retire, so you can get the golf clubs out, the chessboard, and everything you should be doing in retirement. And secondly, on top of that as well, those who work between 65 and 66 is denying an 18-year-old kid their job. And if you start coming to 70, you're going to deny 19, a 20, a 21. You reduce the working week. You have less days at work. You make people retire earlier. You give people more annual leave. And the only way you can do that is by having a stronger trade union movement. Brothers and sisters, the Shrewsbury 24 should have their names cleared. They should have an apology. They should have compensation. And they should be heroes for the rest of our trade union movement. But don't forget as well that not only the Shrewsbury 24, but the entire blacklisted system of Britain should be exposed as well. Don't forget what those people did only 2 years ago when they was exposed. They had files on people of trade unionists. We knew that. They knew that. But in Britain it's not illegal to blacklist someone. What's illegal is to keep correspondence and keep information and to pass that information on to people. That's what's illegal. And we should be saying quite clearly, if it was good enough for those 24 innocent pickets to be put away for the conspiracy that they're supposed to have caused, which we know was innocent, well, Christ Almighty, those people that was really entitled to the conspiracy should be banged away, and they should be banged away. We have it now, don't we? I'm just waiting for the first General Secretary to come to me and say, Bob, you know what the real answer is? We need a Labour government. We've had 60 years now that when the Tories have been in, I've been told, well, we've got to get the Tories out to get Labour in. And when Labour eventually get in, we keep getting told, well, we've got to keep Labour in to keep the Tories out. And now we've been stuck with the same old policies of emasculating working people. We haven't got the legal right to go on strike in Britain. Even when you go on strike, it is illegal. All you have is a protection against the funds of the union, and the members can't be sacked for 12 weeks. That's the only protection we've got. Only us and Saudi Arabia, apparently, have got those kind of laws that are in place. So, brothers and sisters, the point's going to be, what are we going to do about it? All right, sticking resolutions up, that's fine. But the only lesson these people have always understood is mass mobilisation of people. And the litmus test at the end of the day, is there a will to fight? And I've got to say, every single corner of life now is going to change. Even if you're not in the public sector, those people that rely on the public sector for contracts and rely on the public sector for money is going to be squeezed, is going to be cut, and everybody's going to feel the effect. So the problem is pretty simple. Either we sit down and be rolled over, and people say there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can do. I have some differences with some people, but what I can't for the life of me understand, we all know we're going to be butchered unless we stand up and fight. Instead of bringing trade unionists from around the world that stand up to their repressible governments, like in Colombia and like other parts of the world, who do we invite this TUC? David Cameron, would you believe it or not, to address the TUC. I think an absolute disgrace. And I'm going to tell you my position. If Cameron walks in, if we walk out of that we've got to mobilise now. As simple as that. Nothing we can do, someone will tell you. It's a tough old world, I tell you. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing you can do. There's one thing you can do. Unless you can stand up and fight. Yeah. That's what we can do. That's what we're about. Yeah. It's no good bringing banners to these meetings and saying this happened 100 years ago, this happened 20 years ago, and I'm an anorak on this and I'm an anorak on that. This is facing us in 2010, and this will be the first generation that will be handing down worse conditions to our sons and grandchildren than ever before in the last 200 years of this country. And meetings like this should be taking place throughout the length and breadth of Britain. Meetings like this gives the opportunity to reaffirm our faith, reaffirm our commitment, and reaffirm our belief in the fighting trade unionism that we demand. The Shrewsbury 24 should be exonerated and be taking the message of what they did into the condemned government